They're essential fatty acids that you have to have or you can get sick and die.
Huh?
You just feel so good on it that you'd be like, oh, I don't need to eat. You do need to eat. You need to eat enough for your body, and your body will tell you.
Mm.
So you keep eating. If it tastes good, your
Yummy.
brain is telling you, eat more meat.
For people that want to get started or are intrigued at this point or have watched the video on carnivore diet and thought, this sounds pretty amazing and I think I'm going to give it a try. How can someone get started, or how would you recommend someone get started on this way of eating?
Well, I think I mean, there are a lot of resources out there. I have a video
Mm.
called "Getting Carnivore Diet for Beginners," things like that. I have
Mm.
a YouTube channel, or on my YouTube channel, which is just my name, Anthony Chaffee, MD.
Mm.
There's a playlist called "Getting Started on a Carnivore Diet," and there's sort of a curated list of videos I think are very important. I think it's so those videos will tell you how to do it. There's also
Mm.
videos on why to do it, why it makes a difference, why it
Yes.
matters, and what the evidence
Yeah.
for that is. And I think those are just
Mm.
as important. So you can try it out yourself. You can just see like, okay, I feel better. Great, I'll do it, which is perfectly fine. A lot of people do that. But I find that most people are adherent to it and stick to it long term and don't sort
Yes.
of slip off and well, yeah, I was doing great, but just sort of start eating rice again and all that sort of stuff. If they know why they're doing this and why it makes a difference, and if they know the why as well as the how, then they are much more likely to be adherent to it, especially when they see those objective results. Say, okay, my life's getting better, my bloods are all improving, my diseases are gone, I'm off all my medications, and and I understand why. Like, makes sense. I'm never
Mm.
going to eat
Mm.
that crap again. I'm never going to eat that crap again unless I'm starving to death and I have no
Yeah.
alternatives. And trust me, if there's like a little, there's something crawling around me, if I'm on a desert island or something like that, there's something crawling around me, like
Yeah.
that's, better watch out, because like I'm going after
Yeah, I'm
that
going
before
for
I'm going after any
it.
plant. And
Yeah.
so, it's and because I know the why. And so I think it's really
Mm.
important to do that as well. And so going on, my channel, other people's channels, and learning about it and understanding about it, I think that's really helpful. But at the end of the day, if you want to try it, you just try it. I don't think there's anything
Mm.
very special that you have to do. You just eat fatty meat, really focus on the fat. The fat's really good for you. It's very important to get the fat. It's an essential nutrient. It's not just a calorie source.
Mm.
And so, there are essential fatty acids that you have to have, or you can get sick and die.
Yes.
And there are essential fat soluble nutrients that you have to have, or you can get sick and die. And so, fat's very important. And so, eating fatty meat and then just eliminating out all the other things, because I think it's as important what not to eat as what to eat. So for
Mhm.
myself, my own rule is um, no plants or fungus, no
Mm.
sugar or any sweeteners, nothing artificial. And for me, that goes for sauces, seasonings, and drinks as well. Some people, if they need a bit of
Mm.
seasonings, they just can't
Yeah.
get their head around not using anything and just eating meat with a bit of
Mm.
salt. Then fine. It's the lesser of two evils by
Yeah.
far. But if you can, at a certain point, try 30 days without even spices, and most people find a significant improvement
Mm.
even then. So that's pretty much it. You just eliminate all those things. You make sure you're eating enough fatty meat, a lot of fatty meat, until it
Mm.
stops tasting good. Your hunger signals are going to be very different. You need to make sure you get enough food. It's very easy to undereat on a carnivore diet because it's so satiating. You just feel so good on it that you'd be like, oh, I don't need to eat. You do need to eat. You need to eat enough for your body, and your body will tell you.
Mm.
So you keep eating. If it tastes good, your brain is telling you, eat more meat. And you get to the point where it sort of tastes like cardboard and just go, okay, I'm not really
Yeah.
enjoying this anymore. You move on with your day. And
Mm.
that's pretty much it. And you just eat that meat. That's where the nutrition is. There's nothing special about meat except for the fact that it's just exactly what our bodies require for nutrition. So you're just getting the proper nutrition. And then the trick is not eating these other things that cause direct harm.
Yeah.
And those plants, fungus, sweeteners, sugar, artificial ingredients, those can all
Mm.
potentially cause harm. And so you eliminate out all of those, just better safe than sorry. Get rid of all of them, and then you feel much better. Eventually down the road, if someone wants to add something back in. Ooh, can I have coffee? Try in some coffee. See how you feel. I feel worse with coffee. I get
Mm,
sore.
mm,
I get achy. I don't get sore after I work out now. I drink 1 cup of coffee. I'm sore for two
mm,
days. So that's not worth it. I
mm,
have much better energy, much more consistent energy when I don't have coffee. So I don't drink coffee. Some people,
mm.
maybe they like the effects from the coffee more than they dislike the ill effects of the coffee, and so maybe they drink coffee.
Mm.
I've seen exactly one person go back to drinking coffee when they dropped it out, and then for 30 days, and then brought it back in. They were like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm fine with it. That's okay." Everybody else says like, "I had no idea how much better I could feel.
Mm.
I didn't realize coffee was. I thought coffee was helping me. Coffee was actually hurting
Yeah.
me." So things like that. Um, I've tried reintroducing things. I've tried sampling things. Oh, what's that going to do? What's that going to do? Every single time I felt far worse, and so now I have absolutely no interest in having anything from the plant or fungus kingdoms. None. I don't want any of
Mm.
that stuff. And but everyone's individual. If you feel that some spices or seasonings or whatever or salad, I don't know why you would, but if that's something that's you feel is
Yeah.
benefiting your life, and you're okay with the effects that it has, at least you know the contrast now. At least you've had this stuff out of your system for at least 30 days, and then maybe
Mm.
you sample something back in and say like, oh, okay, I don't mind it too much. That's fine. I mean, everyone should be able to make their own decisions. But
Yeah.
the vast majority of people that I find that do a carnivore diet and they see that contrast, they feel so much better and they get such better results that they have no interest in eating any of this stuff. And if they do, it's very limited amounts. Um,
Mm.
and and then sometimes they slip off, but they always go like, I'm not feeling as well as I could. It's like, well, you know what to do. And they say, yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
do. Okay. I just need to do it. So that's pretty much it. Is if you want to do it, just do it. You don't have to necessarily ease into it. If
Mm.
that's easier for you, then you can ease into it. Eventually you just have to stop. So you need to make a clear plan. If you're going to ease into it, it's very important to make it very clear. It's like, okay, on this day, I'm cutting out all carbs and grains and things like
Mm.
that. And then the next Friday, I'm cutting out all beans, seeds, legumes, nuts, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Next Friday, cutting out all high oxalate things, the spinach and sweet potatoes, all these sorts of. Well, you're not doing that anyway because of carbs. And then next week, nightshades and all. And eventually, you get down to the point where you just say, okay, and now I stop everything. Maybe
Mm.
a month or so later, you're just like, okay, now I'm done. Now it's only meat, eggs, fish, and water, right?
Mm.
And then you do that for at least 30 days, and you see how it goes, or you just drop it if you're highly motivated. Just strike while the iron's hot and just say, get rid of this stuff,
Mm.
and just go back to eating what we're supposed to eat. It's never a bad time to stop eating
Mm.
poison, right? So it's like, just
Mm.
get rid of it, feel good, see how you feel,
Yeah.
and see how good you feel, because it's actually remarkable how much differently your body reacts to this, and then you just get onto it. So there are a lot of videos. I mean, my videos, I explain
Yeah.
all that, go into a bit more detail, and then
Mm.
understanding why you're doing it, and then just do it, see it, and try it,
Mm.
give it 30 days minimum. 3 months is better, but minimum 30 days. The first 2 weeks takes about 2 weeks to get this junk out of your system. Alcohol takes about
Mm.
3 weeks, and then after that, you start seeing, wow, this is what life can feel like. And then you'll actually feel better and better and better and better as you go. As the months go on, as the years go on, you actually continue to feel better and better because your body's optimizing. You're turning on and off different genes that optimize your health, that are getting more keto adapted, fat adapted. You're turning on stem cells, you're regrowing tissue, you're turning over your mitochondria, you're getting more cellular energy production, and your body's just improving as you go. And
Mm.
so a good 30 days at least gets this garbage out of your system and lets you see what life is like without so much poison in your body. and
Mm.
uh, and then after that, you just keep getting better. So giving it a decent amount of time, at least 30 days, if not 90 days, and then just see and make the decision for yourself. It's a dramatic difference, and I really have
Mm.
not seen too many people willingly go like, yeah, I feel better than I've ever felt my entire life, but you know what, it's just not worth it because pizza just is just so nummy. Like
Yeah.
I've really
Yeah.
not seen people do that.
No.
But to each their own, but at least and just like people who smoke or drink or do whatever, As long as you understand what you're doing to your body,
Mm,
by all means, you're an adult. If you're an
mm,
adult, and you want to,
mm,
drink and smoke and do drugs and things like that, and you understand that this is killing you slowly from the inside and making you sick,
mm,
I don't think it's a good idea, and I wish that you wouldn't, but it's your choice. I don't,
mm,
you know, I don't I don't like that people smoke. I don't think it's good for them to do that.
mm,
But if they want to smoke, that's their choice. I just don't want doctors
mm,
telling them they should smoke because it's good for them, which
mm.
is actually something that people used to say. People
Yeah,
that used to do the Tour de France, they used to smoke like chimneys. They used to smoke a bunch of cigarettes before they'd start on the day to open up their lungs and get their cardiovascular health going. Like, yeah, this gets my heart going.
yeah.
It's just like that's what people thought for a while, and that's because that's what tobacco companies were pushing out there. That was the
Mm,
propaganda.
mm,
Now we have propaganda about food, and that's another aside is that the Philip
mm.
Morris and the other tobacco companies bought out the processed food companies back in the 80s, and they transferred all their tobacco scientists into the food sciences to make them addictive, and got their marketing department pushing this stuff in the same way. So now they're pushing out this toxic, highly addictive garbage that makes people sick, and they're you're telling us that it's good for us. They're just blowing smoke up our ass, telling us that it's good for us, and that's what they did with tobacco. That's what they are doing with food now. It's the same people. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same drug dealers pushing a different drug, and so as
Mm,
long as people understand that and they understand that this stuff is not good for them and it is garbage.
mm,
If they want to eat it, that's their business. I really don't care. I'm very libertarian in this. I want people to be able to make
mm.
their own decisions, but the vast majority of people would not eat this stuff if they
No.
knew that it was bad for them. The
Mm,
vast majority of people would not eat this stuff if they didn't if they weren't being told perpetually that this was good for them and they should eat it and they should avoid meat, which is actually the only healthy thing for us to eat. Um,
mm.
so people are unfortunately following the recommendations to a greater or lesser extent, and that's what's harming them. I've spoken to doctors who said, "Oh, well, the
Mm.
reason people are just so fat and sick is because they don't listen to doctors about what to eat." And I know, actually,
No.
no. If you look at
Yeah.
the consumption data and the
Mm,
consumer report data, people are doing exactly what they say. They're eating less meat, less red meat in particular, less fat, less cholesterol, and they're eating more fruits and vegetables, more grains, more seed oils, and
mm.
um, and what's happening? We're fatter and sicker than we've ever been in human history, and so we are listening. People are listening.
Mm. Yeah.
Well, only 9% of people follow the guidelines. Good, thank God.
Yeah,
It's like you imagine the disaster that it would be if more people were strictly adherent to this terrible
exactly.
advice. But people going in
Yeah.
the direction of those guidelines has destroyed our health. And
Mm,
so, yeah, I'm glad people aren't fully adherent to that, and people are eating more meat than they're supposed to eat. Good. That's the only thing
mm.
keeping them alive. And so, but just going in the direction of this bad advice has destroyed people's health. And so, no, it's not that people
Yeah.
don't listen to doctors and that's why they're sick. It's the people that are listening to doctors. That's why they're getting sick because the advice is bad.